The next morning, I awoke, hungover, to a very angry Pawn. Apparently, being called Mask was a derogatory term, and it was my fault.
Bloody hell! Oh my God, naked! Pawn! My willie's out, Pawn! It's on camera.
I dragged my depleted sack of self to meet an old collaborator of Michael Jackson, Michael Harris.
This is my colleague who's going to be asking the questions.
Right. This way.
In hindsight, saying he was Calvin Harris's father probably would have been a much better idea.
Right, can I know who I'm talking to, please?
Their name's Pawn.
Hi.
Wasn't going to mess that one up again, even though I felt exceedingly unwell.
What's your name and where are we?
Right, well, I'm Michael Harris, and we're here in the organ loft of St Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh. It's an instrument which is powered by wind, which is supplied by a fairly large blower. I mean, all shapes and sizes. This just happens to be an extremely large example, and it's a modern example with some of the most up-to-date playing assistance. But these keyboards don't work unless you actually do something else, which is typical of the organ, and that is to draw what we call a stop. So that if we draw this, and we can add them together, so we have different pitches. They're actually measured in feet. Organs are never metric. So 8 foot, 4 foot, and then we can even have 2 foot and 1 foot pipes, which start to get very high. Okay, of course we don't often play them just one stop, as we call it, at a time. We will mix them up, and so that we can have these sort of sounds. These sort of sounds, which we call reed stops. We have a very clever computer system which allows us to press buttons and to have different settings saved. So you'll see if I press one of these, then these all move and give me various different combinations. One thing the organist has to learn is to actually not only play with the hands, but also with the feet. Pedals just play some of the lower notes, so we can have extremely low notes, like that's the lowest rumble, more vibration. As an organist, it takes quite a while to learn how to do that sort of coordination. But I've always said if you can play the organ, you probably can learn to drive fairly quickly. So,
how long does it take to learn the organ?
Oh, you're always learning. I'll just go and get one other thing. We'll have a bit of... Stop. This will be familiar to many people. So, that's always good. And it does, show. Just do that. Well, anyway, I'll go and get it. Stop doing that. We're going to go just at the moment.
No, what are you doing? Stop.
Actually, the stone nuisance. Cleaning up stuff. I think that's what I need to just do. Select. Here we have everything saved, which is very helpful because it saves a lot of time. You ready to take this?
I'm ready.
Yeah, great. There's about 3,700.
3,700 pipes.
Pipes, yes. All hidden away, because what you see is only part of it, the internal part.
Was acting up and being unusually unappreciative, which disappointed the Reverend.
There is a lot of the time that one spends alone with the instrument. One has to with any instrument, but and it does. You know, we do play occasionally with instrumental ensembles as well, so you can have
I'm so sorry,
to
Reverend.
enjoy
I think
it.
Paul wants to write something.
So what's the relationship with like religion and the organ then?
Well, I suppose the organ, going back to the supposedly organs in Roman times, which wouldn't have had so much to do with religion, but the organ began life really as an instrument in church. How does it make me feel? I suppose it's quite a physical sensation when I'm playing very loudly. It's. I don't think I've ever really thought about what it makes me feel in that sense. Being connected here, certainly really feel that one's connected with the music, and one is really feeling as though one is a vehicle for people to enjoy it.
Is it possible to dance to the organ?
Well, I mean, it's possible, and there's no reason why not. The music is universal. I'm not sure whether it will work to this piece.
Spending so much time in a cathedral, you could begin to understand why people are religious. The detail in the acoustic and physical design is unparalleled. It created an atmosphere that can only be described as holy. I began to ponder the complexities of life as we were both hijacked and taken on a spiritual journey. I thought of thy neighbour, who genuinely seemed more bewildered at the sight of the TV than the actual place. I began to worry my companion wasn't doing too good. I put myself into their slippers and realised that they weren't okay. And it was partially my fault.
You okay?
I'm sorry, Paul. I got you a present to make it up to you. You wanna get it? Are you all good?
My apology gift was a voice for them to hold. Paul immediately hit the streets to try and talk to someone, but we must have been in the unfriendly part of town, as everyone completely ignored them. Even the usual churchgoers and charity chatters who tried to talk to everyone completely ignored Vaughan. Just when we'd given up, someone finally stopped us for a chat. Unfortunately, it was the police.
Stop filming, please. Are you talking to me? I'm a young man.
You know it's illegal to wear pyjamas in public.
You what?
It's illegal to wear pyjamas in public.
What?
It's illegal to wear your pyjamas in public.
Are you sure?
Aye, of course I am. It's Scottish law, section 53. No pyjamas in public. They're going to have to get changed immediately on taking it.
Yeah, okay. Are there any cheap clothing shops nearby?
Aye, on the end of the road on the right. Don't let that look at it past it anyway. Go ahead.
We slinked off, written warning in hand, and started walking towards this alleged cheap clothing shop. Almost immediately, we became distracted by a loud screeching sound. A famous musician. Who was this mythical piper? I bided my time before charging through the crowd and managed to secure a quick chat.
I need to keep going somewhere before they're there. There's quite a lot of high profile events and so what to do is you can tag me.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely tag you in it,
All
yeah.
the socials are on the back of that card.
Great. So, is it okay if we ask a few questions as you're walking then?
I did some research online. Turned out I was right. Louise was famous. She had played for the Pope, Brian May, this lady, another Pope, Ewan McGregor, and the Moonwalk Boys.
Bagpipers. My father was the bagpiper at Gretna Green. My two brothers, Sean and Paul, piped at Gretna Green. My sister did the Highland dancing. These are my dad's pipes, and they're 95-year-old. I obviously love music, but it's keeping the Marshall family tradition alive. And it's just great to be able to do something that you enjoy for a living, you know?
How does it make you feel when you play?
Do you know, I absolutely love it. It's like, do you know, I've played at a lot of events. I've given Dr. Brian May a bagpipe lesson. I played for the Pope, I played for the Queen. I'm the piper to Lord Provost for, well, since 2006. I've got cruise ships from all over the world as well. So sometimes I might have a drummer accompany me or a mini band. Highland dancers, I do fun bagpipe experiences. You trying to become a musician?
This was news to me.
Now what would you like to play? Well, do you know, what I would say is go for it. It's never too late to be a musician. And the joy it brings, you'll never be alone if you're a musician. You'll always be able to meet people.
Do you ever get it like tired of the sound of the bagpipes, or does it always feel the same every time?
Oh no, I don't get tired. I just love, because every experience is different. Every single time I play, it's a completely different experience. So I perform, you know, the same for every single person on this earth. You know, so I mean, there are some where I think, wow, I'm delighted to play for Dr. Brian May. You know, but
Like fame an important part of it at all?
it is because obviously I'm recommended all the time and. You know, it's nice to be able to appear. Yeah, I've been interviewed worldwide. But it's nice to share my passion.
There as well, that was...
So Deputy Lord Provost, yeah, as well. You know, so Deputy Lord Provost and just officials and also like from probably like the council from Norway as well.
What does it mean that you're his personal piper as
Sorry,
well?
are you still filming?
She shooed us off after this. I couldn't believe it. Finally, after a week of lying, I'd introduced Paul to a genuinely sort of famous musician, Louise Marshall, the piper for the Lord Province of Edinburgh and P&O Ferries. Maybe that was it. Maybe I could stop now. There was a lot to reflect on as we arrived at the cheap second-hand clothing shop. I hadn't even stopped to consider why Paul was wearing a dead old man's pyjamas, let alone what they're expecting to get out of this. Apparently to become a musician. Maybe I should have asked this earlier on. Actually, no, maybe they should have told me.
No, sir. You checked the price.
It wasn't cheap.
And the student, taken with the mother absolutely offers nothing.
Shit, what the fuck?
What do you do that for? What have you done that for? You needed a jumper. Paul, you can't just do that. You go in.
Horn was still in pyjamas, for some reason with a stolen handkerchief on their head, and the police were en route for a second time. I've got 3 weeks left. Where do I go from here?